I can lift more than Rory McIlroy can, therefore I should be better at golf than him.
Yeah,
It doesn't work
exactly.
like that.
Yeah.
Why are you holding a med ball on one leg and slamming it into a wall? I'm a massive geek. I love this stuff, like seeing how stuff works, why stuff works. They are not powerlifters, they are golfers. All he's doing as a result of that is limiting his power. But you shouldn't just look for it to feel better, you should look for it to be better. Yes, but you're not going to be getting the most out of what you could be doing. That's like getting somebody to go and do a Zumba class and say you're going to get fitter. Like, yeah, you're going to do something.
Right, hello everyone, and welcome back into the Blow Par podcast with myself, Joe, and other Joe. Joe, how you doing?
I'm good. Are you?
Yeah, super.
I'm waiting the sunshine today. It's nice.
Yeah, it's lovely. I'm waiting for the day where you say you're not all right, and it's an awkward start to the video.
It's just a breakdown.
Right, again, like we structured it with Zane, let's get on to the most important point of the video. Matt Branton, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, very good, very good. This is the first time we've chatted since we've been away and been in lockdown, and I've not been doing the gym work that I need to be doing. But we'll get onto that later on. So just a quick overview on how we know Matt and what Matt is all about. I'll let Matt speak about himself because he knows more about himself than I do. But essentially, Matt and I linked up through Instagram really over a couple of years ago, I'd say. And ever since, we've been working on my fitness and we've been working on Matt's golf game. Matt is I think 11 handicap, working down towards single figures.
Yeah, 10, 11.
Yeah. So the goal is to get Matt down as low as we possibly can from me as a golf coach perspective, and get me as strong as I can from his training perspective. So yeah, Matt, welcome. Let us know anything that I've missed out there.
No, nothing important anyway.
So Matt runs his own gym in Gloucester. So yeah, really good place. I shouldn't really call it a gym, should I? What should I really call it?
Oh, strength and conditioning facility.
Yeah, let's call it
whatever. It's a gym. Most people call it a gym.
All right, we'll go with that. Brilliant. So first subjects then. Let's debunk a few myths. What do we reckon? Should we debunk a few golf fitness myths?
Yeah, well, my biggest one is, and probably not just in golf, but in any form of training, but it's still massively relevant to golf, is the word functional.
Right.
So the only functional part about golf training is hitting a golf ball.
Yes.
Aside from that, the rest of it isn't functional. It is doing, and we can make it as functional as we possibly can. The most accurate we can be with in terms of functional is there are 3 planes of motion that we move in through the golf swing. The only way that we can make training remotely functional is by moving through all those 3 planes of motion at the same time as we would do in a golf swing.
Correct. Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Which is going to be smaller movements, probably initially to start with people, and assessment-based stuff. But that doesn't mean that the other stuff gets dispelled. So your basic training. So you take those 3 planes of motion, and you would still train in them. And then as you get stronger and more efficient at moving within those planes of motion, while you're still doing the functional side of it, by putting them together, you're going to be stronger, you're going to be more stable, you're going to be better coordinated, and you're therefore going to be able to apply more force through going through these positions.
Let's just chat about, so like just with myths and things, I know a lot of guys, let's say for example, will just go in, they will just bench or they will bicep curl trying to increase club head speed. Or let's say they would also, you see some people as well, just swinging a golf club faster. Do you think any of those will actually help you swing a golf club faster?
Yes, but you're not going to be getting the most out of what you could be doing. That's like getting somebody to go and do a Zumba class and say you're going to get fitter. Like, yeah, you're going to do something, but you're not utilizing your time as well as perhaps you could.
Right, so you could maximize it better.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the things, if you want to be functional again, right, if you want to use that term, swinging a club faster will help. You just stand there and swing it. I saw Patrick Harrington did a video the other day and he called it the swoosh. And he just stood there and he just swung a golf club and he wanted it to make that noise. And he used it as like someone who had never played golf before, give them an understanding of how to create speed. I thought that was brilliant, because it is just understanding that club head needs to have speed in order for you to generate any sort of impact on hitting the ball.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, actually, a podcast which I'll leave in the cards above that we did with Zane the other day. He was saying about clubhead speed. He had a chat with Joe Miller, and he said the number one tip from his perspective was to create clubhead speed is practice swinging the club faster.
Yeah, and that is it's as basic as you want it to be. Like that is the basic side of it, and then you can then apply the other stuff. So doing stuff like going in bench press and bicep curling. If you are a relatively untrained individual, then you are going to get stronger. That is going to help you. Maybe there's other stuff you could do, but you will. Someone who's a more advanced athlete, they're not going to be getting what they need out of it. If you take Joe Miller, for instance, I remember a couple of years ago when I first came across him, seeing him do stuff, the first thing I thought of, I wonder how strong he is. And he posted like gym videos, and a lot of it is just conventional gym work. It's heavy. He's a strong boy, but it's definitely not that specific. The only specific work he does is swinging a guy at a club, and he overloads it sometimes by getting like bars that are heavier and he's swinging with them. But a lot of his training is very conventional gym based. So there's so much more that he could get out of what he does, because he is so strong. Like if you took him in a weight category and put him in a powerlifting contest, he would do well. He is that strong through no.
Yeah, I was going to say also there's a bit of a misconception, isn't there, amongst golfers that they have to swing the golf club smooth. You know, every time somebody hits a bad shot, they go, "Oh, that's too fast. I need to swing it smoother." But actually, I don't think that's always the case, is it?
Yeah, and it's if speed creates a problem for you, from you guys' perspective as a golf coach, then that's where you step in and you can notice that speed is them trying to be too fast is creating a problem. Mm-hmm. I'd imagine that a lot of the time it isn't. A lot of the time it's like when people say keep your head down, isn't it? It's just
exactly. It is just something that seems to go to, you know, it's like keep your head down. It's I tried to hit that one too hard. It's like, well, you don't suddenly try and hit it too hard. Like that's not a thing. You know, you look
that's
at
when
guys,
you've triggered transition too quick or something like that, and you've thrown everything out. You come in too steep, whatever it might be.
Because then they go, I'm swinging it smoother now and I've lost 10 yards, but I'm hitting the ball better. And you're like, well, if you keep losing 10 yards every time you want to hit the ball better, we're going to end up in a position where you're really going to start dropping back on the fairway. If we go back to Nick Popperson's podcast, where he says now distance is key, he stands with a driver and tries to hit it hard.
Yeah. And as long as you've got a good enough swing to be able to be in control of that, then you're gonna have bad ones, but you're going to benefit from that as a result of being able to get further down that fairway. Every golfer wants a lower club in their hand going into a green.
Should we chat about a little bit more in depth about strength in golf and how obviously the game itself has got strong, you know, athletes have got stronger. I mean, look at Bryson DeChambeau. I think he's a really good example.
He's actually a really good example to talk about.
Yeah, let's chat a little bit about Bryson and obviously the strength work he's been doing. I mean, Koenig was saying he saw him on the driving range and he was the biggest guy out there. So, and next thing you know, is he's up there on the leaderboard. So.
Yeah, but you take someone like him, who I think is really interesting with his approach, because with all his scientific approach, club same length, like how he anchors his putter, even how he swings the club in terms of his scientific way of looking at it. But I think he's a complete idiot because he's putting all this science into an approach based around his clubs, which hasn't given him any more success than anyone else. So therefore, you can't say he's got an advantage. But yet, when you look at his gym training, it seems extremely stereotypical golf training, extremely conventional, normal stuff. He's just tried to get bigger.
Right.
At no point has he tried to make himself mechanically better, to swing a golf club better. If he's that interested in the physics side of it, all he's looked at is what is after his hands with the club and his setup. He's not looked at himself and how his body functions and how his body moves. In order, well, not publicly online anyway, but to give himself a better opportunity to hit the ball better. So he created more speed through hitting the ball further by being bigger and gaining strength. So that's proven that works with anybody. But for someone who is as relentless in his pursuit of like looking at the individual bits, he hasn't looked at his own body in this really simplistic physical terms at all.
Yeah,
of like, can you put yourself in that position?
You'd have thought, being the person that he is, maybe he would have publicized that a little bit more on, okay, I've looked at this, I'm going to look at this now, and I'm going to look at this. I mean,
and maybe he is, but I would suggest that because he stood in the gym doing bicep curls, I would imagine that he's not.
Maybe he's just getting ready for spring break.
Yeah, but then there's there's loads of it, but then you see other people that are trying to do it in terms of maybe like how they swing the club in order to generate speed, maybe where they're not strong enough, maybe they're swinging around an issue that they don't even know that they have. Like if you take, like Joe, you always showed me Sergio's swing about how shallow he is and how much depth he creates on the way back.
Yeah.
Like he's probably developed that over years of trying to create more speed to try and hit the ball further.
Yeah.
And obviously for him, it's worked. But there's going to be other players that go the opposite way that are trying to develop more speed through maybe technical swing changes when the issue might not be their swing change. The issue might be that their body can't do what it needs to and be as powerful and as strong as it needs to through where they're going. So they're trying to shy away from positions instead of trying to get stronger through the positions they need to be in.
Yes, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, there was a clip the other day from a YouTube golfer who someone commented on his post and said, why do you turn your left foot out when on your swing? Like more, I know everybody does kind of a little bit through their natural setup, but his was a bit more exaggerated. And he said, oh, it's to help me get through. Whereas like, that's rubbish. Someone who's a professional golfer is going to be creating enough speed that their left foot, when they swing, when they follow through, their foot will move. You could have studs on that big and your foot would still move. If you're swinging a club at 115, 120 mile an hour, your foot will move. It doesn't matter. So by turning that out, all he's doing as a result of that is limiting his power because of the position that he puts his hip into. He won't be able to load it as much to create as much speed. So he thinks he's gaining through putting in a better position, but he's actually going to be losing power, losing strength through the position he's putting himself into.
Yeah, makes sense.
But it's making people understand that that's why. So they found a quick fix thinking this will work because it feels better. But you shouldn't just look for it to feel better. You should look for it to be better.
What else have we got on our list, Lovery? Have you got a list in front of you?
Well, I was going to go then into a thing of, so obviously we chat about, so I know American colleges, for example, now, you know, we're chatting about the modern game and obviously things are moving on, you know, players are swinging it faster, they're getting stronger. I know that even, I think it's England Golf for doing a strength test, I think before you even get into their teams, or it's in the States, you have to swing the ball, swing the club above, I think it's 120 for some universities, I believe, with a driver. Otherwise, they say it's almost a case that you can't get in. And then I know with England Golf, it's something like you have to be able to bench your body weight, squat 1.5 times, deadlift double.
See, that's a bit, it doesn't mean anything, does it? Because you're going to get golfers that can't do that are still hit the ball further than other people. It doesn't mean that every golfer shouldn't be striving to get stronger, and it will help their performance to, like, within reason, it will help their performance.
Yeah.
But if it gets to the point where it's becoming detrimental, it becomes a completely, they are not powerlifters, they are golfers. So even if their goal is to squat, bench, deadlift more, they are a golfer. So if that then becomes detriment to their golf, then it becomes completely pointless.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, as someone who plays golf, I would benefit probably more from doing more technical. I would basically benefit more from playing golf more, because I could sacrifice more gym time to play golf more just to get my technical ability better. Okay, aside from all the small mechanical bits, my ability better at hitting a golf ball, hitting the right shots, putting, chip in, all the little bits. Someone who is a good golfer, like Matt Fitzpatrick a few years ago, maybe before because he has got stronger and he can hit the ball further now, he would have been, he's got such good technical ability that he could have probably sacrificed slightly over the course of his week, a bit of time practicing to get stronger in the right way. As long as that is transferring to his golf. Because it doesn't matter if your squat goes up 10 kilos, but you're not hitting the ball any further, or you're getting too tired to go and play golf, like you're not going to be getting out of it what you need to. So it's only transferring if you're getting better at golf, which is the end goal here compared to other sports. When you're training not just for the sport, like a power lifter, a weightlifter, a CrossFitter, an endurance athlete, they are training doing their sport.
Sure.
They are deadlifting, snatching, clean and jerking, whatever they're doing, they are training doing that. So it's straight away, it is completely functional and specific. Whereas a golfer isn't. A golfer might be getting stronger through doing this other stuff. So if it's not transferring, they're doing something wrong.
Got ya. I think with that thing that I was saying with the weights, I think it was either a recommendation or it was something they were striving towards. I don't know if it's
there will be numbers
or
like
something,
that.
but
There will 100% be numbers. I mean, there will be numbers thrown around because they have to put a number to something because it has to be tangible.
Yeah.
So from their perspective, they're going to say, like, if you can't swing a driver 120 mile an hour, you're never going to be good enough to do what we need you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'd imagine that they've got some evidence to support what they're saying, or they've done some research into it in some way to justify having that. But I mean, 120 mile an hour driver swing for a kid who could be 16, 17, I think it sounds quite high.
Yeah, there was an interesting graph actually that I looked at not that long ago that shows that club head speed directly correlates to amount of money earned on tour.
Oh,
yeah,
so
well, I mean, if you look at the top
that you hit it, there is a clear stat that shows the further now you hit the golf ball on tour, the more money you will earn.
I mean, if you look at, I think at professional golf massively, if you look at the top guys, they are Koepka, McIlroy, Johnson, Woods. They're probably what, top 4 at the moment-ish?
Mm-hmm.
They're all the strongest guys. And then you've got Justin Thomas up there who can create a ridiculous amount of speed based off what he weighs. Aside from those guys, they are the biggest hitters as well, right? They're all the ones that hit the ball first. Tony Finau as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at guys coming through as well. You got Matthew Wolff, unique swing, but generates a load of power and a load of speed from it. He's a strong kid. I mean, he's 20. He just turned 20 or just turned 21 the other day.
Yeah, these guys create loads of speed. And it won't be a coincidence that most of them will be fairly strong. Not like walk into a gym and outlift everybody in there strong, but relative to what they're doing, relative to other golfers on tour, they will be pretty strong.
Yeah, I was going to say that Cameron Champ's another one, isn't he? Develops huge numbers, huge club head speed. I mean, that's got to come from some strength.
Yeah, and if you are moving a club that quickly and you're creating that much force, you are going to be fairly strong. It might be that it doesn't hugely correlate to like a deadlift or a squat straight away because they might not be trained within that particularly. Mm-hmm. But if you were to do like a basic test of how fast you can swing a club, they're already showing it. They're stronger than a lot of the other guys.
Yeah.
And they're all going to have somewhat similar technical ability at that level. So it becomes much more of an even test. If you're putting amateurs to pros, like if you take me to you guys, for example, I can outlift you, but my swing probably might be a little bit quicker, but my ability at golf isn't.
I was going to say, it's an interesting one with, I think it's Brooke Koepka. Obviously, these guys were playing multiple sports until they kind of turned professional. A lot of them come from a multi-sport background, which I think obviously helps. And I believe Koepka came from baseball at some point. So he was swinging a lot right-handed, but they also then get trained to swing left-handed. So he was swinging a golf club the other day, and it was 111 or 116 miles an hour left-handed with a driver.
Like, I saw it. Did you see his A-time that went 198 yards?
Was that left-handed or right-handed?
Yeah, left-handed.
It's bonkers. I mean, the power that he's got left-handed is nearly above tour average for players that are swinging their conventional way.
Yeah, and he is an athlete. Like people like him, people like Gary Woodland as well. He was wasn't he he was played basketball at university, I think.
I think you could be right.
I think so.
So like he's an athlete. Look, I mean, Tiger Woods is the absolute pinnacle, isn't he? Like in terms of he evolutionized the sport. In terms of making people realize that they need to train it, they need to get stronger.
Yeah.
Like they're athletes. The chances are, with a lot of them, if they weren't golfers, they'd probably be something else. I think that's the case with most top athletes from most sports. How many footballers, cricketers you hear about that are scratch golfers, and they play once a month? Yeah, because they're athletes.
So let's take it back to amateurs then a little bit. So let's chat about amateurs. So let's say, for example, I've got, let's say a guy average, let's say 28, 30 years old, playing off a similar handicap as yourself. He's been playing, he plays once a week, let's say, gets a chance to go to the driving range. How would you help him get stronger? Let's say he's already got a gym membership. He goes to like a normal gym. How would you sort of help him get stronger or faster?
Well, first thing would be you want to get your hands on them. So you want to be able to assess them. You want to be able to see. I want to see them swing a golf club for a completely different reason to the way that you do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to see them, how they move, what their restrictions might be. So make them swing a golf club, but maybe in some different positions. So you're like locked down certain positions. So not hitting a ball, literally just moving the club through different positions to see when they backswing what their right hip does, to see when they backswing what their left leg does, and then the same for the follow through, to see what overriding restrictions there are. Because if there's significant restrictions, there's going to be in everybody in some way, shape, or form. You need to fix those first, because no matter what, even if you do make them stronger, which they would see an improvement if you just did basic strength training, that you're always going to be building those foundations not deep enough. Right. So if you want a pyramid, the pyramid's at the top here, the wider that base is, the higher that pyramid can go. So the better those foundations of movement, the better you are giving them to potentially get better. Mm-hmm. So you need to find the positions that they struggle in, whether it might be that they struggle mobility-wise, like they physically can't get in that position because they're too tight. It might be that they're not stable enough. So they've got loads of range, but when they're there, they're not stable. So as a result, they either lose it in the swing and completely come out of position, or it might be that they have to rely on speed and come into it too quickly. So you need to kind of figure that out. And then the strength training that they would do alongside that needs to be integrated so that they can get the most out of it. If the strength training starts creating more problems, like if you've got a restriction for your right hip on the follow through, and the restriction is stopping you getting through as much as you need to, and we're on a massive squat program, and you can see that it's getting worse despite getting stronger, then the squats aren't doing what you need them to.
Right, got you.
So it then becomes, your squat might have increased, but then all that's happened is that's just been a program specific to a back squat, which is not the idea of what we're trying to achieve. Yeah. So it's only working if we can make sure it carries over. It might be that they just say, look, I want to go to the gym a bit and do a bit and play golf. And if they don't want it to be as specific, it might be a different program that you give them. But if they're wanting to get better at golf, the program is going to be entirely different to just a program to maybe get them a bit stronger.
Yeah, I think the key word in all of this that's really, really sort of coming through is transferable, isn't it? It's basically whatever. Let's say, for example, someone's really working hard in the gym to create, let's use the really, really basic term of creating more club head speed. It's no good doing all that gym work if it's not transferring into your golf swing.
No, exactly. Because otherwise I can lift more than Rory McIlroy can, therefore I should be better at golf than him. Yeah, it doesn't work exactly like that. Yeah. So it needs to be transferable. The strength training needs to aid and develop your golf, not the other way around. So you need to make sure that you can still hit the positions that you need to, but be stronger, be more stable in those positions to be able to apply your newfound strength that you are gaining. So it means getting stronger through the different planes of motion. So it doesn't just mean put a bar on your back and squat. It can be like lunge variations, balance variations, all that sort of thing in order to build strength to then use it on a more technical level. If you want to you will get stronger through just lifting weight, and your average golfer will see an improvement within their swing because they are able to create more speed. And even if they do have restrictions, then the speed they're swinging at might be able to hide them a little bit. But as soon as someone's becoming a better golfer, those small differences make a bigger difference. That 1% at the top level is far, far greater than 1% for a 15 handicapper who might not even notice it. They might just have a good day and a bad day.
So in terms of like, obviously you will have seen some posts put on from, let's say, athletes like Rory and Bryson. Is there anything you've noticed that these guys are doing that are quite similar? Any sort of particular movements that you've sort of spotted, or lifts that you think are obviously being recommended?
I think a lot of them, they are just following a pattern. They're just following, this is what we think we should do, so we're doing it. Or this is what other people are doing. Like, I saw a thing just the other day, just where there's been no golf on TV and Sky Sports are just doing reruns. There was a program with McIlroy, and he was talking about his coaching team and his strength and conditioning coach. And they were saying, we spotted that I couldn't get into my left-hand side. Well, you guys could have spotted that as golf coaches. So that's not impressive that his strength and conditioning coach has noticed that. That should be a basic assessment that he has done to see it and then address it. Whereas actually, if you can't get into your left-hand side when you're swinging through with a driver at 125 mile an hour, why are you holding a med ball on one leg and slamming it into a wall? Probably creating way more force than you would be swinging at 125 mile an hour. If you can't load into that position, swinging 125 mile an hour with a golf club, how are you going to do it with a 5 kilo med ball? Like, you're not. You're physically not. If anything, you're going to exaggerate the problem, because your body's going to have to work harder to stabilize in a position that you're clearly not good in. So he needs to take that right back and be like, why can't I get into this position? Where is the restriction? And then build from that, and then build the strength through it afterwards, once he has built the ability to be in that position better, which is obviously what he was struggling with. He's wanted to give a fancy exercise where he is transferring his weight from one leg to the other, slamming a ball, rather than actually going, well, you can't be here when you're rotated through, so why are you struggling with it? And finding why he's struggling with it, rather than just trying to come up with answers.
Well, that's covered a heck of a lot of subjects. I don't actually have anything off the top of my head right now. Let's talk about Matt. Let's talk about you. What are your plans? Do you want to take your golf stuff further, as in being a trainer further?
Yeah, I'm a massive geek. I love this stuff, like seeing how stuff works, why stuff works, looking into it from more depth. There's always a why. So if someone can't do something, there's always a why. There's why can't they do it? Why can't we get them in this position? How do we need to make them better at it? It's simple, but getting there isn't simple. It's just figuring it all out. And I think that's why I like golf so much, because coming from like a weightlifting background, they're very similar, but at the same time extremely different. So going into golf and seeing how stuff moves, plus my love for playing it, see it from a different angle as well. So yeah, training golf is fascinating, because it's completely different to stuff that I've previously done, having got into golf stuff over the last couple of years. It's much different, but the fundamentals are very similar in terms of you need to make someone better at being in certain positions and stronger, and then building upon that to allow them to perform better.
Cool. Yeah, guys, drop us any questions, anything you have about golf fitness, anything that you're particularly struggling with. We will try and answer that in due course. We will liaise with Matt and try and get Matt on again if he'd like to do it.
Yeah, definitely. It's good.
Yeah.
Love to.
Cool. Awesome. So that wraps up today, guys. Thanks very much for watching. If you're new here, please press that red button below the video that says subscribe on it. That really helps us out and keeps you updated with every future episode. We've got lots and lots of plans, and hopefully you'll have seen the thumbnails starting to evolve. Hopefully you enjoy. Drop a comment down below, and we'll see you all very soon.